is in your world. This platform serves as a space for engagement designed to equip young people to become effective leaders. They are actively contributing, creatively engaged, and determined in various fields. And now, this is Take the Lead.
It is another day, and hello West Africa, and to all of you listening to us from around the world, welcome to Take the Lead on West Africa, Democracy Radio, your youth-inspiring program where young people sit and discuss issues about their livelihood. My name is Augustine Cully, and today we are identifying the factors that hindered young people's readiness for the job market, as well as conditions required for decent and well-structured employment for young people. This is important because Africa is home to the world's fastest growing generation of young talents. Today, Africa is home to around 532 million young people aged 15 to 35, representing more than 22% of a cohort that should shape global labor in the coming decades. But current factors of unemployment, underemployment, and other issues could undermine this projection if they are not addressed effectively by either governments, NGOs, including employers. That's why we have some professionals as our guests today who will be discussing these factors hindering youth preparedness for the job market, as well as the conditions to ensure that qualified young people are employed and they are able to contribute back to their countries or communities. Our guests in the studio are Kumbare Wagi, and Kumbare is a master's student at Sheikh Anta Diop University in Dakar, and she's also an assistant at the West African Research Center. How are you doing, Kumbare? Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Kumbare. I'm doing great. I'm a master's student, like you said, and an assistant at the West African Research Center. I've been working there for years now. Thank you so much.
We are also happy to have you with us, and it would be good that you share your experience with young people. How was it like even being at the research center, and as a student, you could tell us more about your experience. So we are glad to have you with us today, Kumbari. And we also have Sheikh Amalasek, and Sheikh is a language interpreter and co-founder of the organization called Best English Learning Center in Senegal. It's a privilege to have you with us, Mr. Sheikh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's my privilege, Mr. Colley. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity given to me, and extend my greetings to Kumba. As you said, my name is Sheikh Amalasek, and I'm a co-founder of Best English Learning Center. It's an English training center based in Dakar and Chess, and which is providing courses, practical courses for everybody who wants to speak English. And at the same time, I'm a TERP, and I've been working for TERP since 2016. And it's really my pleasure and honor to be here today to spend this momentous moment with you.
Thank you. We are glad to have you as well. Joining us from Ghana is Gifty Anosika Asantewa, and a development finance professional. She's also the Chief Executive Officer of Elevate Ghanan Forex Project, a vibrant woman joining us on the platform. How are you doing, Gifty, and welcome? I think you need to check your microphone, please.
Hi, everyone. Many thanks, and I'm glad to be on the show. This is an amazing topic, and I'm ready to dive in. All love from Ghana.
Yes.
To everybody in the studio in Dakar.
All right. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Gifty, as well as you, our cherished listeners and viewers. Join us. Also share your knowledge about the topic. Drop your opinions right in the comment section on our live feed on YouTube and Facebook at WADR English. Before going further, let's join WADR's Veronica Njai for a brief information about the state of youth and employment in Africa.
Africa's growing youth population presents enormous opportunities for economic growth, but millions of young people continue to face significant barriers to securing decent and sustainable employment. According to the International Labour Organization, continental youth unemployment across Africa averages roughly 11 to 12.7%. However, standard unemployment figures mask a broader crisis of informality and underemployment, with over 30% of West African youth classified as not in employment, education or training, and nearly 90% of young workers trapped in vulnerable informal jobs. One of the biggest challenges is the mismatch between the skills acquired through education and the demands of today's labor market. Employers increasingly seek practical experience, technical expertise, and digital competences, while many graduates leave schools with limited workplace exposure, limited access to technical and vocational education, inadequate career guidance, restricted financing for young entrepreneurs, and unequal opportunities for women, rural youth, and persons with disabilities also continue to slow professional integration across many African countries. The African Development Bank and the African Union have repeatedly emphasized that investing in youth skills and employment is essential for transforming Africa's demographic youth into sustainable economic development. As Africa continues to have one of the world's youngest populations, policymakers say preparing young people for quality employment will remain central to achieving inclusive growth and reducing poverty across the continent. For more on these issues, join Augustine Coley and his guests as they discuss the barriers that hinder youth preparedness for the job market, including the conditions needed for well-structured youth employment.
Well, thanks to Veronica Jai for those details. They're coming from some resources, and it's coming at a time when the continent is engaging into activities that should promote youthful employment, but at a very, minimal or moderate pace. Do we need to go further? Do we need to improve? How can we do that so that the current rate of 12% can increase or decrease? To what extent that will benefit the youthful population on the continent? Let's have a conversation about this and join us. We will read your comments live. Now, beginning with SEC, you listen to these pieces of resources being provided by Veronica Jai. It's important to firstly consider the importance of a young person being employed as a professional person. What does that mean? And you are a young person. You could tell us more about that.
Yes, actually, as you said, it's very important for every young people to find a decent employment, as we said, because we are not talking about employment itself, but we go a little further, talking about decent employment in a context where it's very difficult even to find a job for most of African people. We know that is one of the biggest challenges that we've been facing these last decades, how to help our younger generation or the younger people to join the market and find the proper job. And I think this challenge has so many aspects that we need to navigate in order to understand it, as many people have their responsibilities, starting from the government itself, going through the young person himself, and also going through the Institute of trainings and so on and so forth. Now, coming to the young people, I believe that we all deserve and needs to get ready for ourselves, because we are living in a fast-moving world where no matter how talented you are, no matter how brilliant you are, you need to be competitive. And then I believe that one of the things that we need to fix or to right the wrong is the fact that sometimes the training that are proposed to our institute or to universities does not match with the expectation of the market. And this gap also, I think, need to be adjusted if you want to find job, let alone decent job, I think.
Yes, that's the mismatch between education and the job market. We get that from you, Seg. We'll come to more of that, but let's listen to Kumbari. You, as a young person, we are discussing not just employment, but we are looking at the conditions for decent and well structured employment for the young people. So it can't just be that I'm working only to get wages, but what's the condition of the environment where I'm working? What's the emotional aspect of what I get, and after work, how do I relax in doing my work? And then it also comes with other challenges, working with other people in the same environment. What is that spirit like? But you share your thought. Well, you are a student and at the same time doing some research. What does it mean for you? Does it take away your time, or it's a form of employment that is necessary for a young person?
I'm gonna share like my experience as a young person working at the West African Research Center. When I just like went there, I had no experience, and then I was doing like my first year at Cheikh Anta Diop University. And when I just came, like they didn't ask me, any experience, because they know that I'm new. I have no experience. Okay, maybe I have like the English. At that time, I was not even fluent. But they say, okay, we're gonna like integrate you as a young person. Okay, and then this decent job that you're talking about, I think they gave it to me, because as a like someone who is new, nothing like no experience, they integrate me. They show me how to work, how to be a good leader, how to handle things whenever like it doesn't happen exactly like we want it. Okay, and for me, like a decent job is not only have a salary. It's like the safe, your security, are you good in it?
Yeah.
Okay, like are you happy? In the beginning, maybe the small thing that you're gonna get there is nothing, but okay, the experience, okay, the patience, the knowledge that they're gonna put in you. So this is, the small thing I can start.
Okay, it's interesting. The security, are you happy? The willingness, the environment to ensure that you are lively in doing your work, and it also encourages you to do more, and it brings out that innovative attitude from within you. And let's consider the figures that we're looking at, and we now come to you, Gifty, providing knowledge to us and other young people. Why do we still have this quote unquote, if not high, but a little higher rate of unemployment in Africa, when there has been on several occasions awareness created, complaints, reports been produced, but we continue to face this situation, and the youth population continues to grow despite these challenges? Would you mind sharing some ideas? Why do we still face these barriers?
Thank you very much for the question. So what I would say is that Africa is a budding economy. It is growing in the area of economical growth and the area of employability. As we said, Africa is the most populated youth situation now in the world. West Africa, part of it. We the International Labour Organization just released a report stating that 1 out of 8 youth in Africa is unemployed. Now the discussion is about unemployment. However, I feel like we have more under employability and informality than unemployment. We don't have decent employment for the youth. We don't have infrastructure for the youth. As our gentleman in the studio had already, reiterated, he has said that the educational qualification and the relevant skill versus the labor market has a gap. So it means that when the kids go to school, what they are learning now is not relevant to the demands of the market now. So then if the infrastructure, the government is not doing anything in terms of giving the right infrastructural, robotic framework for the youth, you will end up producing a lot of unemployment or underemployed graduates, which would fuel more poverty and unnecessary immigration for the region. What we are supposed to be doing is to be able to match, as you have said, a lot of organizations are talking about it, but is the system changing to meet up with whatever we are doing in terms of advocacy? Are the employability level of these students being matched? Are they learning things that they are supposed to be using for the current labor market? That is what we are supposed to be looking at. I went to one of the universities to lecture, and I was asking them that as a student, you probably might have a first class. When you leave the school and you have a certificate, and then you know that over 200,000 other students also have first class or same certificate, what will be your competitive advantage over the people for you to be able to get employed? Okay, so beyond the certificate, we should be looking out to mentor and give skills to this youth for them to be able to have competitive advantage on the labor market. Okay, so the infrastructure is not there. We keep on talking. The government cannot be the only one to employ. In fact, in my country, statistics reports show that the government can only employ only 1% of the youth, and we have over 300,000 university graduates every year. Okay, so if our syllabus is not giving entrepreneurial and internship vocational skills to these people, we are producing enormous of unnecessary certificates that are not relevant in the labor market. So if we continue not to change the infrastructure, give room for better mentorship, or have some good career coaching where students are able to know the demands on the market to be able to choose their courses.
Okay.
We can never run away from our current situation. We would end up producing students that are not worthy for the labor market, and the infrastructure is not even going to allow to be able to have decent employability in West Africa and Africa as a whole. We should have decent jobs that have fair wages, etc.
Okay, I will get back to you, Gifty. That's a nice one coming from you. The issue of having our curriculum being transformed in a way that what students are being taught are exactly what they will see out when they are searching for jobs. And Seth, you put a spin around that somewhat about the mismatch.
Yes.
But let's also look at the preparedness of young people as a factor of our discussion. Are the young people prepared for these professional jobs, these quote-unquote decent jobs that we're talking about? Are young people prepared, despite the efforts being made to ensure that many young people are employed? Are the very many young people prepared today?
Great. Yeah, I think it's a very good question. And really, I'm not being pessimistic, but I think the real preparation that we need to have in order to acquire those what we call decent job, we are not really prepared for that. And I believe that the lady who just talked earlier said something, Gifty, she said something very important. For example, we all can have the same training, but what do I have more to propose? What do I have more than the others? And I think this is sometimes some skills that we don't acquire from the schools, from the traditional school. These are things that we need to go by our own and go and try to get them, which is very important. And then you said something that really drew my attention, which is the number of graduates or the number of people we are preparing and sending to the market. According to the UN, I think Africa, every year we are producing 11 millions of graduates who are ready to enter the markets. But the markets only absorb 3.5 millions, which is very little compared to the number that we have. And the question is, where are the 909 millions and more are going? Most of the time they are going to be entrepreneurs, or they are going to accept jobs that are not decent because they don't have choice. As we said, rejoice, there's no choice. When you don't have anything to do, you will just accept anything that comes across your way. But coming back to the question, I strongly believe that we need to be more prepared, better prepared, and for that we need to change a lot of things. We need to change our way of teaching. We need to review how our institutions and schools are built. We need to change a lot of things on ourselves, on our way of governing, and on our way of doing. In doing so, maybe we can match the expectations in order to find a decent job. But so far, I don't believe that we are doing great on that very level.
Well, let's hear from Kumbari. What do you think? Are the young people really prepared?
No, since
But you are a young person.
Yeah. You know why? Like now, maybe I'm prepared. Like thanks to like where I'm working currently. But if it was only, university, or okay, I can like gain, knowledge there. But what I have now is not about schools, right? I've been working with like people that have experience and show me what to do exactly. That's why now I have this decent job, let's say. And what Ahmala said also, like what we have at school and then what we're gonna do after maybe can be so different. We're just gonna accept like a work that it doesn't suit us, but we don't have any choice. We just have to do it, and then this is not like security, this is not safe. So I think like we need the help of the government or others, those who have like companies, to do not ask like young people to have like many experience, because they never worked. They don't teach us at school how to work, how to be like a good worker, a leader, or something else.
Okay. Another interesting thing, let's hear from you, Gifty. Why you spoke about having different maybe profession or different skills. In many cases, these employers are concerned about their job being done. They are concerned about hiring professionals who know the work, and probably not someone who has just left the classroom and coming to learn on the job. They believe it will take time. They will also lose some resources. Do you hold on to the fact that these employers are not also doing justice to the many young people or young graduates who are seeking decent job but do not have the working experience so much?
All right, thank you for the question. So what I'll say is that, every business will want to look out for profitability in the long term. Okay. You can't fault private sectors for wanting professionals and people that are able to solve problems. They can't absorb the fact that there's a lot of unemployability in the system. So I'm supposed to take these inexperienced youth to come into my business, which is going to be unproductive, and I'm going to lose money. So if you want to match that, you will need the youth to be able to go beyond and have some soft skills, the skills that are not taught in the classroom. In fact, technology is so wild now that you can actually do online courses for free. Soft skills like AI, the use of AI, being able to brand yourself and market your competence. Do you understand? These are not skills that are taught in the classroom. So to be able to match the demands on the market and to be able to have an employee employ you, you should be able to have a very strong problem solving and systemic thinking ability. That is the only way you'll be able to get a job. And some of these things are not in the curriculums in our universities. But you can also say that because it's not there, you're not going to learn it. You have to learn even how to negotiate. I always tell my mentees that, getting the certificate is just the foundation. Getting your soft skills, knowing how to solve problems, critical thinking, and having a relevant skill is what is going to get you employed. Okay, that gives you some sort of a competitive advantage. All right, and then your negotiation skills, your attitude. Do we have the youth that have professional attitude towards employability? Some of them can't even work in a team, but they might have a first class.
Okay, but let me just ask you, Gifty, you as one of the many employers we are also talking about today, do you believe that the young people are adequately prepared for a decent work rather than just having vocational job or just internship so much that we speak about?
I would say they are getting there, but it can be better.
But they are not there yet.
They are not there yet because a lot of them, in fact, I had a training in one of the university yesterday, and then I was asking this same question. I asked them, beyond class, what do you guys do? Do you have anything that can fetch you money? I was asking them, so let's say you finished your education and then you don't have any connection in the government. Your mother, your father does not have any connection, but you did well, but you don't have any connection for a business. You are not getting a job. Do you have a skill that can prepare you as you wait for a better opportunity? And then one gentleman said he has his own cooking service. I was so shocked. He sent me his menu. He goes to individual mate on campus and outside campus to cook for them. Okay, some have started doing makeup. These are soft skills that people are now trying, but it could be more. Okay, some are learning online courses like virtual assistantship, data analytics, and so on and so forth. So these young ones that are coming are really preparing themselves, but it could be more. So they don't only depend on their certification. I think we should actually advocate more on the youth going into getting soft skills that could propel them when they are not yet employed by government or, having any decent job for themselves they can be able to rely on.
Okay,
well, soft skills.
Yes, but could this be for you, Amala? Could this be an excuse to why many young people do not have decent job? Because it said that the decent jobs are limited, yes, that a young person will have to now think about something else to do?
Yes. I think the decent jobs are very limited. But as you said it, we need also to find our way out, because when we are in a world where opportunities are all very limited, we need to try to see how we can create our own opportunities. And I think this is what some of us like me did, because I created my own business in 2019, because this is something I wanted to do. This is something I love. This is something also I have, because all I have is the English language. This is what I have learned. This is what I have been doing for years. And then I say, how can I turn this into something that I will do because I love it, but also that will pay my rent? Mm-hmm. This is very important. And now I think that the mentalities are being more open. And there's also one thing that we need to highlight, which is most of the time, young people, they can reach a certain number of age without actually even knowing what do they have to do of their lives. Mm-hmm. This is something that happens. Many students, you go at the university, you find many students, you ask them, what do you want to do? They just say, okay, I'm just here to learn, and then maybe something will come up. It means that these people are not prepared in order to know where they have to go. I remember as a coach in personal development, I was having a training with the Fulbright, I told you. And as I was explaining, there was one gentleman who said that he is very skilled and gifted in cooking, in making stuff and all those. Mm. So to motivate him, I told him, okay, the final day we will have a cocktails, and you are the one who is going to do everything, that foods and whatever that we will eat or drink. And he was very excited because he find that as a first opportunity is to show his best, one of his best skills. And he did something great. 1 year later, we met somewhere, and he was the one in charge of, the cooking, the foods and then everything. And then when we met there, he took the floor and said to everybody, I remember the first time I did it was Mr. Seko who gave me the opportunity because he trusted in me. And just to say that we need also to trust young people. And trust doesn't just implies asking 5 years of experience for somebody who just walk out of university. It means that we are not helping them. We are not giving them the opportunities to show what they really possess. And I think these are some practices that we need to put an end of.
Wow. Can we go back to the issue of having adequate career guardians? Where coming up, perhaps your parent or the school will develop that career guardians program, or to some extent, they will observe a student what this child is good at, and they begin to guide you so that when the child grows up, when the child graduates, they know exactly what they want or where they want to work, how they want to live. Is that a major issue that we can also look at for
let me tell you something. Like I live in a business family, right? In my family, everybody's like a businessman or woman. At least like you have something, even if you are a medical doctor, but you have your own thing. Me, Kumbari, as a linguistic student and an assistant, I have also a Kumbari shop which I created since I was at high school. I do Muslim clothing. For example, what all I'm wearing right now, this is from Kumbari shop, okay? I didn't go, anywhere to buy it or to buy it. I just create, I go to the market and buy fabric and then create some things with tailors and then sell it. So, besides being a student and a research, someone who does research, I have this thing. This is something that my parents, maybe they put in me, or I don't know if it's like something that is innate, maybe. But the thing is like job or decent job is never like enough. Have something like by yourself, create something by yourself, because tomorrow we never know. The job that is like decent cannot be like done, right? So I don't know if I
Yes.
get
Yes. But young people are trying their best, especially young entrepreneurs. But there is this issue, and for you, Gift, you into entrepreneurial work as well through your Forex program or platform. The issue of restricted finance to young entrepreneurs, inequality in terms of the opportunities for young people are some of the factors that many consider hindering young people from having access to decent work or well-structured employment. Would you mind saying something about this?
That is a very sad situation, actually. It's all about trust. If the government could actually partner with financial institutions and private institutions to give access to affordable loans for the youth that are having brilliant ideas to actually incubate their ideas into programs that will further help employ other youth, it will be very good. But Africa don't have the infrastructure to even be able to have any access to the government. In that perspective, you should be politically affiliated to the government or some sort of connection here and there. So as we talk about structure and the easier way, the private sectors are the ones that mostly give majority of the employability to the youth. The government can barely do 1% for the youth. So if the government will look into that, partner with, you know, um, financial institutions that will actually help, with small loans for setups, for incubation without collateral. These young ones don't have enough money to feed themselves, to have collateral for loans to help start their organizations. And then beyond that, even if they are not able to get these access, there are other ways, as I said, soft skills. I have actually helped a lot of these young guys in my team. I am into advocacy, education. So what I do is that whilst I'm teaching them the digital financial skills. When we go for events, I need a photographer, I need a videographer, I need an editor. Okay, I need people to help me promote my event on social media. And these people are the same people that I use. And then I pay them whilst they also learn how to, trade. So if you are going to be doing these things, it will help them learn the skill and also have a little amount of money for their pocket as they wait for a decent job. Now, you see, this is where the underemployability comes in. They might have these little minion jobs to do, but there's no safety. There is no safety for them, job safety. There is no pension. There is no fairly wage paid to them. But to have a decent job where your daily wage is certain, you are able to fend for your job security is pure, you will need the government to set in, and especially the private sector, framework to be robust and developed for the youth to be able to access funds and other necessary accoutrement to be able to develop in terms of getting into startup and entrepreneurship.
All right. Just before I go to Amala, let me just ask you this question. The issue about young people struggling with career choices is also a factor. But is it at that skill that many young people struggle with the career choice? They don't know what to study, and what they will study will certainly become different from what they see out there when they graduate, making them to focus on something else. Is that one of the barriers we're talking about?
Absolutely. A lot of them get into the universities because, well, that is what the course they got, not necessarily what they wanted to do. Okay, so if you're going to be able to set these kids to the relevant demand on the market plus the cost necessary, I'm advocating that we have some sort of a career guidance counseling program right from the secondary school level, even before they choose their courses in the university. You realize that some have, after they finish their WASI, I mean, the grade they have is what is going to determine what they're going to do in the university, which could be way out of line for what their hobbies or their talents are. So you see an engineer finish school and become a teller in the bank. The disparity is so wild. Do you understand? But if you are able to coach them, ask them what they want to do at the high school level, propel them and give them the labor market and the structure and the relevance thereof. When they are going to the university, they are able to choose the right courses and even able to learn the right soft skills to be able to be marketable, on the labor market.
Well, that's great. As we discuss these issues, experts are also expressing their thoughts on the matter. During a recent Erasmus Plus Regional Week 2026 in Dakar, WADR Imo Edit followed one of the discussions on the education job mismatch and fight this report. Let's just listen for at least 50 seconds.
One of the main focuses of the discussions is how educational partnerships can help tackle unemployment. Elise Dabo of Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana reflects on Africa's education challenges.
The education job mismatch is a tragedy. Our curricula are often theoretical overloads. We are producing graduates for a 20th century market, leaving them without practical agency to thrive in a 21st century labor market. We need to reform our curricula to competency-based invest in our training ecosystems, and certainly retain our talent by creating career pathways.
While gaps remain across the sector, officials say sustained investment in education, skills development will be critical to preparing Africa's growing youth population for future opportunities and economic growth.
Thanks to Imo Edit. And that's exactly what we've been wrapping our heads around when it comes to the mismatch, when it comes to the career choices, the curriculum, revamping them. But before, because we're winding down, let's consider the issue of internship from school to the job area, from the theoretical aspect to the practical aspect. Not many schools are in connection or having this internship program with employers, where a student at the final stage must go on internship.
Yes.
I can remember going on internship while in high school too.
Yeah.
I only experienced that in university. But is it a problem that's also causing this high rate of unemployment for young people, Amala?
Yes, actually, as we just listened to what was said earlier, that our curriculum is very theoretical, and sometimes we need to match the theory and practice in order to have the proper profile. And coming to the internship that you just raised, I think it is very important because this is the only way that you can value and practice what you have learned. But the point is, there are some subjects in our curriculums that when you are learning them, you don't know what to do as internship. For example, when you are in languages, most of the time, like French or Spanish, English is great. It's not because I'm an English teacher, but when we ask you, for example, when you want to go for an internship, most of the time, people who are doing that, all they think is they have to finish their study and then go teach. And most of the time, teaching, you need to go through, a certain procedure in order to be a teacher. But I think it would be great if you could have the link between the institutions like universities or training schools and also some companies in order to help people practice what they have theorized for a certain number of years or for a certain number of months. And this will allow them at least to be ready when they are about to apply for a job, so that people who are asking for 5 years of experience, when it is asked, I can just say, at least I have gone through an intern and this is the result. I am ready to just put my competencies in your company or whatever. So I believe that internship would be something great, but the thing is, we don't have enough companies ready to help those people who are willing to go for that, and also and I believe this is problematic at some point.
What's up with you, Kumbari? What's your thoughts about that?
I definitely agree with Amala, but the thing is, like, we don't have enough company, like he said, to help the youth to do like this internship. So I think what we can do for this like young generation is, okay, there is no internship. Just call like for a job, and then you're gonna hire, the young generation. Once they're there, they are in the company or enterprises, teach them how to work, because like without having any experience, how you gonna work? Because you never do an internship, or you have no experience. So what can we do?
Okay, that's right. Now, as we wind down, Gifty, please, we would like you to recommend either to government, to employers, creating more opportunities to ensure that at least first-time job seekers and recent graduates would have little or no experience can be able to work. Please, go ahead and provide those recommendations.
I will indulge governments in West Africa, especially with over 400 million population in West Africa. I will indulge them to reduce the stiffness of trading. They should encourage border activities to widen opportunities, give the right infrastructure, and then encourage private sector growth for the youth because the government cannot be able to employ everybody, and the private sector is the major employer for employment in West Africa. For the youth, I will encourage them to equip themselves equip themselves beyond whatever certificate they have, equip themselves with AI innovations, equip themselves with digital skills, digital financial skills, have relevant skills that will propel them to be marketable. Beyond that, they should be able to learn the attitude to be professional on the job. You see, as I said earlier on, your certificate could probably get you into the interview. It is your foundation, okay? Your skill set, your ability to think right, to solve problems, will be why you will be able to get employment. And then even beyond that, you'll be able to brand yourself in a point where you'll be able to sell yourself for investors to be able to want to invest in you if you want to go into entrepreneurship or into setups. And then have the right attitude to have competitive advantage to be able to work within the professional setting and set yourself above the right race.
Okay.
And I hope with this, West Africa can go beyond just poverty to getting decent jobs.
Great. Let's quickly take reactions from our social media pages, specifically Facebook. Fatumata Sa says youth employment can be improved through skills training, internships, entrepreneurship support, and easier access to startup funding. We also need stronger partnerships between schools, government, and the private sector, so young people graduate with skills that match today's job market. Investing in youth is investing in the future of our nation. Fatumata is also asking a question to, I think, Mr. Sek. She says, if governments continue to invest in education, why unemployment among graduates remains high? How should success be measured, and who should be held accountable? But I believe all of the guests can also weigh in on that. But let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fatimata, for that brilliant comment and the relevant question. I think we've already discussed the reason why we have these problems, mismatching of between the trainings and also what the market is actually expecting from us, or is actually want from the people that they are ready actually to hire. It's true the government is investing a lot of money, but still I believe the money that we are spending on education is not enough, because as Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use in order to change a society or to develop a society. So if such is the case, I think no matter how important is the money that we invest, we should try to invest more. But I think investing also only is not enough. We should need to improve once again our curriculum in order to match it with the expectations of the employers, because as long as this is not done, we'll be investing money, we will be always trying to see who must be blamed if people don't find a job, but we will never find the real responsible for such a thing, or the real person to be blamed. So that's why I strongly recommend that we try and see what we can do in order to have curriculums that match with the reality of the world, because what we have so far is what we had years in the past. So we need to change things, because the world is changing and we shouldn't lag behind. That's actually what I believe, and that's what I propose to our government, because I believe that Africa have what it takes in order to fly with its own wings. But if we are not doing anything to make it right, nothing will happen.
Well, Mr. Sek, that's great coming from you. Let's also hear from Fatumata. That's Kumbari about Fatumata's question. As the government continues to invest in education, but youth unemployment still remains high, how can you measure that success? Is there a success for the government, or for the young people, for the nation? Who should be blamed for that?
I think like what he said, like we just have to look at like the curriculum. because what we have, like, I mean, it's so ancient for me. Okay, like our education, I think it's more academia than professional, right? And then nowadays we are in a world that we need to change everything. So those investment we have to do, like how to balance it between, like, I mean, education, academia, and professionalism to see what exactly the youth they need exactly.
Well, that's great. It's been a wonderful time having you people with us. We want to thank you, Gifty, for being on the show today. We appreciate your time and the knowledge shared. We hope to have you here again another time. Thanks so kindly.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you to Sek for being here today, and we hope that you'll be available again another time for another interesting topic.
Of course. Thank you so much.
And
I appreciate it. It was a great pleasure.
Great. And to you, Kumbari, thank you for coming. We hope
Thank
that you'll
you.
come another time.
I was so glad. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Well, listeners and viewers, that's it on this edition of Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio 94.9 FM, Dakar, Senegal, and online at WADR.org. It's always a pleasure having you with us. Please join us next Friday for another live episode of this program. But remember to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people in Africa. My name is Augustine Cully. I will talk to you another time. Bye for now.
Hey people, my name is Mello, Afrobeat singer from Guinea, and I love listening to the program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Hello, my name is Fatou Binta Rasuke. I'm the CEO of African Start Shop, and I love listening to the program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.